All right, cool. What's 1 year of approaching women taught you about life then?
Oh, geez, it's changed my whole life. What 1 year of approaching has taught me is, firstly, nobody actually cares about me. And like you say, in the most liberating way possible. I when I first met up with you in Poland back in 2023, I thought that the world revolved around. I mean, deep down, I knew that it didn't, but my brain and the excuses that were at the forefront of my brain um, caused me to believe that everybody was wanting to know what I was doing. Everybody was interested in what I had to say and what I was doing. And just walking over to girls in public where everybody can hear me and look has taught me that nobody actually does care. They're so infatuated with their own day and their own interests that maybe they'll glance over or listen in for 10 seconds, maybe 60 seconds, and then they just continue on with their day as if nothing ever happened. I become an afterthought within 2 minutes, and they never think about me again. So the second thing it taught me is, even if they did think about me again, it doesn't matter because they don't actually care about me. They don't care about me as a person. They don't care about my development. They don't care about my dating life. So why should I let them and whatever I think is going through their brain hinder me? Because even if they were interested in what I was doing, and even if they watched my approach start to finish, whatever they have to say, whatever judgment they would have for me, positive or negative, it can't affect me unless I let it. Yeah, and because they don't actually care about me, I I'm not going to let a stranger's opinion of me influence me. Much rather let a person who has a dating life such as yourself influence me, which is what I did. Yeah. Let's see. What else did it teach me? It taught me how to not be a bitch. In all honesty, yeah. I mean, it's one of the most difficult social things we can do in the modern era, and yeah, I think it's really just made a man out of me. I mean, I feel different. People, cousins, my dad, they just tell me I'm a different person now, and they can't really place their finger on it, but I can. Yeah, because I know what I've gone through in the last year. I know all the reps I've put in. So it would be absurd for me to not get these kinds of comments like, "Wow, you're so much more confident. Wow, you're so much more outgoing now. Wow, you're assertive now." I would expect that to happen because the act that I'm doing is so bold. It's so out of the ordinary. It's so out of my comfort zone. It stretches me, and so that's a big benefit that I'm realizing is it is just carving out a different side of my personality that I didn't even think was there. Just this opposite of nice, this opposite of easygoing, complacent kind of personality that I'd concocted up until that point. Now it's starting to sharpen a bit. Now I'm starting to take less shit, calling people out, whereas before I would avoid conflict. This is as a result of me approaching the girl. Yeah, so it's insane how people just completely miss the point of this entire space. They think, or maybe this is just their own projection. They think this is all about notch count, lay count. Oh my God, how many girls can I get through? And they're missing the entire development portion of this, which is what you sold me on and what I continue to preach about, which is, yes, the bonus point is that you get the girls, but look who we're becoming through this. Look at Ephraim at 22. Look at Ephraim right when he met Kristian, and then look at Ephraim now. And it's like it's a night and day difference. It's a different person. It's a different life. So yeah, I guess I'll start it off that way. That's what colder coaches taught me.
Yeah, and obviously you've got your channel going now. I look at it every other day. Just checking in, just seeing how the progression is going. Obviously you're going to be getting a lot of comments as well from guys. Like, I know like your overall coaching journey is still relatively new and it's still in its inception. But I'm just curious, like what sort of feedback are you getting from the guys who are watching your videos? Like, what in your experience, in your opinion so far, after starting to actually publish videos, what do you think that what do you think people are struggling with at the moment from the comments that you get on your videos, maybe the conversations that you have with people in your free community? Like, what are guys struggling with the most, do you think?
So the first thing I'd say is that 95% of the guys, maybe not in the community, but let's say in the comment sections, 95% of them, I'd say, this is just a rough guess, don't actually do anything. They kind of, you call it mental masturbation. They're obsessed with asking these theoretical questions about percentages and what they should expect. And I tried to drill it into their heads that there is no expect with this. They want to expect because expect is predictable and predictable is comfortable. But there is no predictable. You can't predict what's going to happen. How does she feel that day? How do you feel? What did you eat? Where are you living? Is it cold outside? There are far too many variables to predict what can happen, try to predict the conversation structure. So we can go further into that later. But now, what are the 5% of guys that actually fucking do something and don't just sit around on the internet typing comments? What are they struggling with? 100%, it's the fear of walking over. It's the fear that she's not going to like him. Just like it was for me, just like it was for you, every guy in the entourage. This is one of the 3 or 4 biggest main fears, right? The fear that she won't like you, the fear that the people that are in earshot, that are nearby, are going to hear you and judge you and laugh at you. Fear that that girl that didn't like you, you'll see on another occasion, and it'll be awkward. Like that is the general fear that I am uncovering. And oftentimes they don't just say it like that. Usually it's like a beat around the bush question. But when I read it, I go, that's another way of saying I'm scared. Yeah. So that is mainly what I'm seeing, at least in my channel, in my community right now.
Yeah, it reminds me of the piece of feedback that I give to pretty much every person that I work with. I'm like, hey, listen, whenever you don't want to do something, like these surface level excuses, like, oh, she looks busy, she looks like she might have a boyfriend, she looks bitchy. It's like, come on, dude, you paid this money, we're here, we've got a limited time on this planet. Like, just be real with me. You're scared. That's okay. It's normal to be scared. Doesn't mean that you're a pussy. If you're scared, you're a pussy if you're scared, but then you don't do it and you create some convoluted reason why you couldn't approach it. It's a Tuesday. Like, girls out down to date on a Tuesday. Right, interesting. You're scared. That's okay. We're all scared. That's fine. It's not a conventional activity that we're doing right now, and it's going to demand a lot from you. And I think a lot of guys who get into this, they don't actually realize the mountain that's in front of them. Like you were saying, like, it's more than just going up to girls during the day and giving them a compliment. I think it's a big reason why I turn a lot of guys away who want to work with me, because they don't actually understand the true transformation that needs to take place for them to live a fulfilling dating life. Most guys think that just need to learn a few lines, learn a few routines, maybe buy a few courses here and there, the classic $997. Oh, great, then my dating life's going to be fixed. Yeah, cool story, bro. I mean, you've got a long way to go if that's where your mind is. I understand more and more this is like 97% in a game. And a lot of guys, unfortunately, they're not in the mental place to actually take this stuff to the moon. And that's fine. That's like, we've all been there. But I think like it's a game of character development. Yeah, it's about becoming the version of you who's actually a great example of that. You linked up with me in Warsaw last year, and you've really been able to transform of yourself and your character and
Hold on. Maybe take the floor for a bit. Oh, oh no. Yeah, we're glitchy, but I hear you. I hear you. I don't see you.
maybe
There we go. There we go. Okay, we're back. We're back. Okay. Oh shit. Here we are. Yeah, I think the connection is just shoddy right now. Can you hear me though? Hello? Oh, come on. Oh, we were doing so
Mm.
good. There we go. Hello?
Is that better for
Okay,
you?
I can hear and see you. So what was the question? I apologize.
The question was, what do you want to get out of this process now over the next 12
I want to
months?
change as many lives as possible because meeting up with you, learning this skill set has transformed, like I mentioned at the beginning of the live, every area of my life. It's just you can't explain it with words. They're not the We don't have the words to explain it. That's why I document it. That's why I show it on my channel because just talking about it isn't enough. Yeah, so I like to bring guys along on the journey with me. So over the next 12 months, it's just going to be identifying as many guys that are really about what they say as possible, and then teaching them how to do this, teaching them how to transform their life. I already got my satisfaction out of it. It's funny. You told me I was going to be able to even predict this, right? You say I'm going to go through this phase where I'm going to be having my fun. I'm going to be spamming the skill set, and then I'll get to the other side where I'm like, well, I'm more or less satisfied. I'm satisfied with who I've become, with the dating life I've concocted, with the women I'm seeing, with the results I get when I do go outside. Like I'm very satisfied. Not to say there's no room for growth, but I just really like where I am. So now the goal is share the skill, share it with the guys that don't know it exists. I think that's my job at this point. I think it'd be incredibly selfish for me to come across this space, meet somebody like you, have you, the entourage behind me, this big force behind me that's backing me and endorsing me, and choose not to share the skill and help other guys. So yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to.
Mm. So what do you think are your biggest obstacles then at the moment? So obviously you've said that you've got the skill down. Obviously you're doing your YouTube videos. You're saying that your dating life is exactly where you want it to be. What what's missing then at the moment? Like, if there's things in the way from stopping you, like what are those things? Like if you've got your ideal reality and you like what are the things that are getting in the way of making that the actual reality?
I honestly, I think just for me right now is just time. I rolled the dice a few months back when I got laid off. I tried to aggressively find a programming job while I just did a bit of gig work. And so I kind of blew through my savings account and got myself to a place where I had to get a full time job in sales. So doing that now, I'm about to get a part time job, a night job at an airport just to make extra cash. Plan on moving into a spot that'll save me $1,000 on rent. So what's stopping me right now is lack of freedom, lack of choice because I have lack of cash. As soon as I have more cash, let's say a few thousand in the bank, even that'll allow me to have more purchasing power, have more freedom with my time, and that's the key. So ideally where I want to be is in another remote job where I can kind of travel place to place while making money and therefore teach this skill set very efficiently because I'll be able to be making money from the place I'm teaching it from. So I'd say that's what's and I don't even like the phrase holding me back just because I don't think anything's truly holding me back. I mean, if somebody put a gun to my head and said, "Go coach some guys," I imagine I can make it happen. But yeah, that would be the biggest roadblock for me is just getting from where I am now to more financially stable. And then the other thing is just filtering through guys until I find one I actually want to work with. What really opened my eyes was my first ever consultation call. Because of course, just like my first approach, right? I'm imagining it going so perfectly. Oh, this guy I'm going to work with, he's going to be just like I am for Kristian. He's going to just create this whole channel. It's going to be great. And in reality, it's stand up guy, great guy, but not a guy that I would work with by any means. Just because we don't mesh, we wouldn't have meshed well with our perspectives. So I think that the aside from me figuring out my shit, the next biggest obstacle is going to be all of the applications that I'm going to end up getting from guys that, like you mentioned, just want a quick pill. They want a quick fix. They want percentages and pie graphs and what they should expect in order to plot it on a chart, plot it on a graph, and track their metrics that way, like a scientist, like a mathematician. Those guys, I'm not going to be able to work with any of them because I can't relate to any of them. I didn't go up to Kristian and ask, what should I expect out of this? I didn't ask how many girls are going to like me 1 out of 10 or X out of 10. I didn't ask any of this shit. I asked what is necessary in order to get the dating life that you have. And it's as simple as that. And what's great is it's not even that much that's necessary. What's necessary is, like you mentioned, all of this inner work and then learning this skill set. And that can take anywhere from 3 days to a month in my case, where we really got it down. So, but yeah, to answer your question, I'd say that's the roadblocks right now.
Mm. So what's the overall plan with the channel then? Because obviously, you know, when guys watch the stream, they'll go over, they'll start watching your videos. I noticed that you started to put out more, I would say quality, like in-field footage. Like, what's the overall plan of that? Like, what can guys expect to get when they go over and start watching your videos consistently?
Oh, belief and permission. I think those are the two most important, because most guys, just like I was, were obsessed with technicalities. We're obsessed with techniques. Once again, because we want familiarity. Yeah, if we can learn a technique before we ever even apply it, yeah, if we can get the mechanics down by watching 10 infields, it makes us feel more capable. But we're not actually more capable. We haven't proven to our brain that we can actually do it in real life. We've just proven that we can watch it and think about it. More mental masturbation. Yeah. So what my channel gives guys is, one, a catalog of videos to look over and see just how, I mean, just proof, right? Just how legitimate this skill set is. I talk about how the only reason this whole channel exists is because I met a guy named Kristian out in Poland, and he taught me a skill set called cold approach. And guys seem to miss that one key subject of my entire channel, and they see the dating life and they ask the questions about percentages and how I did this. And they keep forgetting that I'm telling them the answer every time. How did I do this? I learned how to walk over to the girl. That's how all of this happened. All of these results, they're cascading results from that one act. Yeah. So my channel provides belief, it provides permission, it provides proof. You're allowed to walk over. You're allowed to go over. In fact, I did it on camera. In fact, the infield, I don't know if you watched that and you noticed, one or two of them were done in front of a San Francisco police squad car. And guys are talking about, am I going to get arrested, shot, thrown in jail for approaching the girl? I'm approaching the girl in public, people around, in front of a police car with the cop in there, right? You got an AK-47 in the passenger seat. Dude, you're allowed to walk over to the girl that you like. There's nothing illegal about this. And so that's, I think, my biggest benefit. What you gave to me, I give to other guys, permission.
What does permission mean?
For me, I was scared to walk over because I had all of these fake beliefs in my head that if I were to do this, the girl would pepper spray me. The girl would shout for help. Guys would see me walking over and think that I'm trying to ambush the girl or kidnap her. Cops would see me walking over and think I'm up to no good. I'm trying to mug her. That's what I had in my head. And it's funny because now having done thousands of approaches and met so many women that actually like me through this skill set, I can confidently say that that also was an excuse, because deep down, I deep down I knew that walking over to a girl and giving a compliment would not get me thrown in jail. Yeah, like I could connect those two dots in my brain, but it was such a convenient excuse as to not approach, because, well, how can I justify learning this skill set that gets me laid if I'm going to be thrown in jail, right? Obviously, my freedom is worth more than these dates. So that's a very convenient excuse for guys to use. And even if I debunk it, even if I approach the girl in front of a squad car, they're still going to somehow introduce this topic because they think it's different for them. They think that, oh, Ephraim, you're doing it, but you're this smooth guy who's been approaching women since birth, right? But if I do it, certainly I'm going to get thrown in jail, right? But what they're not recognizing is each and every individual has that same thought, yeah, because we're all living life through our first person perspective. So, but yeah, that's what permission means to me.
Yeah, it's interesting. I actually think that is a somewhat valid excuse for some guys, because like a lot of guys who follow this stuff, unfortunately, they've just not reached a level of social competence where this can actually work for them. So like for them to actually approach in their current image would most likely be catastrophic. I'm not saying they're going to get thrown in jail, but I just think that like there's so many supposed gurus and coaches in this space who make it, they paint the picture that anybody can have a incredible dating life by just learning this skill set. And it's complete bollocks. Like not everybody can have a fulfilling dating life in their current image. That's not to say you can't become the version of yourself, but I've kind of just like I've got to a point now where I just can't be bothered with any sort of like bullshit markers in this space. Like, oh, approach any girl, anytime, anywhere. Doesn't matter like where you're at in your life. It's complete horseshit. Like maybe that worked 10 years ago when the world wasn't as switched on, but now that there's really there's no justification for being a loser anymore. Like all this it's just a way of delivering the value that you built to the world. So I would definitely say to guys, like, if you genuinely don't feel in yourself that you're at a position where you can confidently go over to women and invite them into a reality that they would enjoy, then that's fine. Like, give yourself a year to actually improve yourself, like get a better job, make better money, improve your fitness, your fashion, your finances. I think that unfortunately there's a lot of coaches that try and sell a dream to guys. Like, it doesn't matter where you're at right now. You can learn this skill and you can be dating tens. And it's like, yeah, cool story, bro. I'd love to see how that actually works out. So I think it's just important for guys to recognize that you just might not be the version of yourself right now who's capable of attracting those women. And that's fine. I think a lot of the guys who follow, especially your stuff, I've noticed, I think they're guys in their early 20s, even guys who are still at college or university. Honestly, like, I just don't think that you're in a position right now to actually get the full leverage out of this skill set. Like, you're more of an anomaly, I would say, because you really stacked your value from an early age. Like, you worked in sales. I think that really made you aware of what was demanded from you in this skill set. But I think young guys just need to get more life experience first. I think a lot of guys get brainwashed on social media. They want to like live up to like the Dan Bilzerian archetype, like have all these like fucking straight tens with them, and it's like you've not earned the right to do that yet, and that's okay. Even though like and that's the way that people need to frame this. It's like your dating life is probably the most important decision that you're ever going to make in your life, because the woman that you decide to procreate with, that's going to affect your lineage, like your generational lineage. It's like it's not something that you really want to rush into. So I think guys just need to be able to mix speed and patience. So like if you are a younger guy right now and you're following Ephraim's stuff, then I would say just treat cold approach more as a self-improvement exercise right now. Use it to build your confidence and recognize that if you're a 20-year-old guy who's at college, it might be another 7, 8, 9 years until you actually start to actualize your potential. And that's fine as well. Like, women didn't really start taking me seriously until I got to this age of 27. I don't think it's like because I've got to 27, that's the case. It's because I've been building myself since the age of 13. So I think guys need to understand that like male life is it's really a marathon rather than a sprint. And it's like you really just need to be building yourself every single day. So it's like going to the gym, learn how to fight, maybe learn a few languages here and there, getting yourself a well-paid job, traveling, experiencing things, just improving your social skills by cold approaching, going to improv or like social media that inspires you every single day. I just think that like I think your channel is important because I think that young guys can really relate with you. But I would say that when you're making your videos, I think you really need to make people aware that your skills, they weren't just built through cold approach. They were built because you've been doing a lot early, like working in sales, knocking on doors, learn how to build emotional resilience, like all of that stuff that you might have forgotten. That's what guys don't, they're not even aware of. Like they just see your improvement with cold approach, but they don't actually know who you were. A lot of the time, they don't know who you were before this. So yeah, I think it's important for your overall brand and channel just to keep making guys aware that this is a holistic transformation journey, and you are more of an anomaly because there's not many people your age who can say they've done what you've done. So I think it's important for that because not all people are created equal.
Yeah, I agree with that a ton. And I think it's interesting because a lot of what you mentioned, yeah, I think that if I would tell guys more often that they should just not expect a thing out of this, because I when I angle my content and I say, oh, your life can be so different, oh, your dating life can be so great through this skill set, I don't often mention that you can't expect certain results out of this. That's why the guys that they're asking me about percentages, I can't give an answer unless I lie to you, because there is no answer to that question. There is no expect when it comes to cold approach. I mean, when it comes to life in general, honestly, but specifically cold approach, expect doesn't exist. You cannot take my results and try to apply them to you because I'm 5'9" and you're 5'9", because I have a beard and you have a beard. It doesn't make any sense. So that's what Christian was referring to just now, is I spent years doing knocking on doors, going business to business, getting doors slammed in my face, cold calling, yeah, trying to recruit people into pyramid schemes. I'm 18 years old talking to 30, 40-year-old investment bankers, trying to get them interested in my stupid little business model. But all of those are reps. Yeah, they're reps, not in the category of cold approach, but just in social interaction and sharpening the social weapon. Yeah, social lubrication. So I'm getting better at interacting and leading conversations, at speaking with people that are decades older than me. So you have to imagine that each and every one of those approaches, yeah, those interactions, they do influence me today. They influence how I see the world. They influence how I'm able to communicate. Yeah, how they influence how quickly I can turn my brain off when I feel fear and I want to go over, and I'm just like, oh, I've been here 1,000 times before. So I completely agree with you. I think, yeah, that's something I should definitely make note of, is to share more often that I didn't get here just simply through cold approaching for 1 year. It's not like I showed up in Poland as a complete social idiot who could not look anybody in the eye, and then all of a sudden after a month of working with Christian, I'm just this completely new person. It's like, more or less, this was me prior to meeting Christian. As far as physically, I looked the same. Emotionally, I was more or less the same. Yeah, definitely uh, less developed, but more or less, I was already this guy that can go rep for rep for rep, get rejected here. He doesn't want my sale. This girl doesn't want my number, but keep going. Yeah, I was already that guy. So anyways, to end off what I'm saying here, there is no expect. Yeah, there is no what. Oh, if I learn this skill set, how many dates will I be going on per week? That is all up to you. There are too many variables to answer that question accurately. That is up to you. That's up to where you are in your journey. That's up to how many years you were bullied in elementary school. That's up to whether or not you can look people in the eyes right now and converse. Yeah, that's up to how much work you put in when you do, or, after your immersion. How many approaches are you doing? How many dates a week can I go on? How many approaches are you doing? What's the weather like outside? Yeah, the people that you're approaching, are you even attracted to them? Are you walking up to old ladies? There is no answer. Yeah, there is no expect.
Yeah, that's why I've always like scoffed at, oh, how many approaches does it take to get a date? It's like, fucking hell, man. Like, you've got a long way to go if you're asking those questions. It's like, I won't even entertain that. But what do you think your biggest weakness is at the moment?
My biggest weakness, focus, I'd say, well, overall or just in cold approach?
I think everything is related. Like I say to
Okay.
people, I say to people, you don't actually have dating problems. You've got personal problems, which manifest themselves into dating problems. So, like, if you had to pinpoint one weakness that you think is castrating you of your ability to move forward at the rate you'd like to, what do you think that weakness is? Because the reason why I ask this is because I think that times we don't actually reflect on the things that we're really shit at recently, where things were going like almost too well. And I was like, this is so bad, it must be good. Oh, sorry, this is so good, it must be bad. I was like, what's holding us back right now? Because I think you can get to like a certain level, and like as you develop, your ego grows with you, and all of a sudden it's like you think you're the best thing on earth, and then I had to start checking myself and reflecting on things. So I'm just curious if you're aware at the moment of like where your weaknesses might lie. This is turning into more of a coaching call, but I'm just curious because I would like to see you develop more as a person. I think if you're going to take on the role of actually starting to coach guys, which I think is superb, and I think you're in a great position to do that. I think it's important that as well as helping others, you're also able to reflect on what could be holding you back. So yeah, just curious if you know what that might be.
Yeah, no, it is a great question. Yeah, I'd say for me mainly it's just my ability to focus on what I'm doing and not want to go on this date, go approach that girl. Oh, let me go film this content now. I think that it'll take more of a structured lifestyle and structure doesn't mean predictable, but structured meaning, you know, not just going out with friends and getting drunk on Saturday because I might be coaching a guy on Sunday. So maybe maturity, that's a better word. My biggest weakness right now is I still feel as though I'm that younger version, 24-year-old little boy Ephraim right now. And that person needs to develop into, all right, solid, solid man Ephraim before I'm to coach these guys through the skill set. So yeah, I'd say my biggest weakness is because I feel as though I'm very self-aware. I try not I try to stay as humble as possible even on my channel and tell guys, don't worry, I'm not a big deal. I just got over my fear. Yeah. So I wouldn't say humility, I wouldn't say lack of work by any means. I'd say it's mainly, yeah, just getting my place to or getting myself to a place where I feel as though I'm mature enough to take on the responsibility that is required to walk a guy through a skill like this. Because I know that you are a very dependable person for a lot of people, and so this version of me right now, we couldn't swap places and have me succeed. I'd crumble under the pressure. But that makes sense. You've built yourself up one day at a time, yeah, since 13. So it makes sense that you would be able to withstand a lot more responsibility. So yeah, for me, maturity, just getting over stupid habits, getting over stupid decisions, and just yeah, becoming a person that can take on more responsibility.
Mm, yeah, yeah. No, I think yeah. Okay, okay, yeah. Yeah, for me, I think the thing that I've been building more is having more empathy for the guys who actually come forward. It's I didn't realize, but like I've almost become more psychopathic as my career has progressed. Like because like I've almost had to be because the traditional guys that I work with, that they're high achieving individuals. So like they need a certain personality to be able to help them. But like what I've realized more and more is people respond a lot better to high empathy. So it's like being able to actually connect with people on a human level. And the only reason I've learned this is because I've been going to Muay Thai training classes out here in Bangkok. And like I realized that I respond very well to a certain type of coaching. I thought that I responded really well to your shit, you're being a pussy, this is how you do it. If you don't do this, then you're a piece of shit. But I actually realized that what I really value in people that coach me is somebody to step into me and like be on my level and understand the world through my perspective. And like whenever I'm getting coached and like I don't understand something, I just like need somebody to go like super slow and like make me feel comfortable in the not knowing. So like by me going to these Muay Thai classes, I become way better at actually coaching people because now I
Mm.
understand that, oh wow, Kristian, like you've been at this social game for the best part of 14 years. And like if you've got some guy who's like sold his business for millions of dollars and hasn't talked to a single soul for the past like 1.5 decades, then it's like you need to like be a social chameleon. Like you need to be able to like step into his skin, like see the world through his eyes. And I didn't even realize that was a blind spot. It was always like, oh, it's my way or the highway. Like, oh, I've got all this social experience. So it's like I was always scared of like being wrong. But now I realize that my right might not be somebody else's right. So like, yeah, like ego can be a massive enemy. So like I found that in myself, like when it comes to actually coaching people, just like reducing like the level of ego and the level of investment that I've got into my own opinions and be like, well, that might work for me, but like it might not be that useful to this person. Honestly, I just think that whenever you're coaching people, all people really want is to feel as though somebody understands them. That's all that they want. It's like I heard someone say once that like good writing makes you understand, but great writing makes you feel understood. And like that's what people actually want. They just want to feel understood. They want to feel safe. They want to feel protected. They want to feel as though like, oh, this person actually gets me. I realized that was like a blind spot in my own coaching practice for a long time. I was like, fucking hell, like I've kind of like lost touch with being like having empathy for people. And I think that's super important when it comes to cold approach. Because like I remember coaching you in Poland. I'm like, you've come all this way. You're in a country which is like predominantly white. You've got a lot of self-limiting beliefs going through your head. I'm like, I just need to meet this person on his level and just like do my best to make him feel safe and comfortable. Even like these guys who are like, like crushing it in business, like these fucking like alpha fucking males who are like, fucking high testosterone, like, oh, I don't need anybody to like show me any empathy. Like those people actually need it the most because those people are usually the most insecure, which is why they built the business to however much they built it. But yeah, I think for me, just having more empathy for the guys that I work with and recognizing that it's sometimes it's difficult for me to actually connect with people on like a beginner level because like I'm so far removed from that now that it's like shit. And the only way for me to reconnect with that is actually by me like doing new disciplines that make me feel like a beginner. And I'm like, this is what a beginner feels like. It's like if my coach is like, no, you need to move your foot here. I'm like, I don't understand what you're saying. Like, I can't physically do the thing you're asking of me. And then in my mind, I'm like, this is what the guys who I work with think of. But I'm like, yeah, dude, like when you speak with a girl and you run out of things to say, just go for the number. And he's like, I don't know how to do that. And I'm like, oh, now I understand what you're saying. So like, yeah, that I think that's why the heavens decided to push me on this path of like doing Muay Thai. Like I'm not trying to be like world number one at Muay Thai, but it's like it's allowed me to reconnect with the beginner's minds. I think that's really crucial for me because sometimes I kind of feel as though I've lost touch with that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and what's interesting though is it's been about a year and a half or so since our immersion. So I think that change, that loss of touch with empathy has happened. Yeah, it must have been within the last year and a half or so over this course. I mean, as you've got more business, as the entourage has exploded, yeah, I imagine it does change your perspective and your delivery and coaching and the type of guys definitely changed throughout the last year and a half of guys that you're coaching. So it makes sense that the style changed. But yeah, while I was listening to you speak, I was just thinking that I couldn't relate to that experience with you because I mean in Poland, all you gave me was empathy, man. I mean, I was out there and I was scared. I was first time out of the country, first time out of the continent. I didn't know what to do. I didn't speak the language. I didn't know where to go. I didn't know I didn't you're the one who told me I needed to swap currency. Yeah, I was gonna go out there with USD and try to pay for everything. You're the one that told me I need a special outlet to be. So it's like these little things that no guy is ever gonna hear unless they watch all of my content, all of my live stream. These little things that I can't explain enough are what made me feel safe in that environment. And it was that feeling of safety and understanding that I was in Poland that you created that is what allowed me to be so vulnerable and open and honest and transparent about how I felt, how scared I was. Every time I'd go in for the approach, I'd come back and we'd consult and we'd talk about it. But a guy that was lacking in any of these areas is a guy that I probably wouldn't have felt comfortable enough to open up that much to. But it's because you were so solid in literally every area. It's because when I showed up, you had the game plan. You didn't leave anything up to me. When you picked the location we were meeting at, you picked the time we were meeting at. You just led the way, and then also you created the space for me. I didn't just tell you I was scared. You asked me. You pulled it out of me first, and so that's why I just had to add that in because I saw that all as very empathetic coaching. Yes, and especially when you gave me plenty of kicks up the ass by telling me what are you doing here? You paid all this money, go approach the girl. But then you were also able to very easily take a step back and go, all right, I understand what's going on now. You just got blown out all day. Yeah, like that one day before you thought you lost your account, right? And and I just remember you were meeting me at that place, and not even just meeting me there. You were predicting it. You were warning me about it. Yeah, the days that led up to me not getting any success, let's say for one approach day. Um, those days you would tell me it's going great. Oh wow, these girls love you. You're getting so many phone numbers. Do not expect this every day, every time. Yeah. And I think that was one of the biggest lessons I learned is the expect, right? Even back then, you're telling me there is no expect. Stop expecting. Yeah. So I was severely humbled the first time the approaches didn't go my way, but it was a great learning lesson once again. So yeah, I just had to add that in. I think that I mean I haven't looked elsewhere for coaching in this space, but I've seen content and I imagine you're the best in the space, like you say. I mean, there's a reason I chose you, and look at my results, look at my channel. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really watch a lot of content in this space anymore. I've got a few guys I actually do really like. I'll just put that out there for the people. Like, I don't hate everybody in this space. I actually think there are some people that are actually really good. Coach Kyle is one of them. Just to put it
Yeah.
out there, I really like him. I think he's great. Like, he's one person that I think he's really. Whenever I go over to his channel, I like it. It really motivates me. Like, I don't have any sort of like anxiety attached to anybody who's like way ahead of me. I think he's like 34, and like I just feel as though like he's really taken it to a completely different level with the way that he approaches content and his whole like just everything is really dialed in, and I really like that. But like, I do think there's a lot of people in this space who shouldn't be in the space. I don't know what his coaching's like. I don't know, but like, just the overall vibe that I get from somebody like that, I'm like, okay, this person gets it. This person's really dialed in. This person can also see that it goes way deeper than just like picking up girls. So like, I really like that. I think he's a good role model, and certainly someone that I look up to in a business sense, because yeah, I was listening to like a podcast that he did, and he was explaining like where he's at in his life and his business, his personal life. I was like, yeah, that's really cool. I really respect that. And it's like, doing a live stream like this, it's like, I think a version of me a year ago would be like, no, don't mention anybody else. You're gonna lose business. But like, I'm at a place now where I'm like, do you know what? Like, people are gonna go with whoever they resonate with the most. But like, I just think that, I don't know. I think anybody these days can be a dating coach. Like, whenever I go onto Instagram, which is actually rare these days, I always see guys with like pages. It's like, fucking number one dating coach on the planet. I'm like, okay, I like the whole idea of like, speaking things into existence, but I don't know. I think personalities always shine through, and that's the reason why I like using YouTube as a platform, because I think that short form content, you don't really get to connect with somebody properly. I think like when people go over to your YouTube channel and they binge watch like 6 to 10 to 12 hours of your content, like most people are smart and they can kind of like, they can separate the bullshit from like who actually knows what they're talking about. But yeah, I'm just curious, like apart from me, like who else has sort of inspired you in this space? Because I think it's important for guys to sort of just find like what else is out there, and they can make an informed decision about who they would like to work with. So like, we're not affiliated with any of these people. I've never had a conversation with Coach Kyle in my life. I'm sure he's a nice guy, but like, yeah, like who are your sort of like, inspirations on the rise?
Oh, let's see. So this is all going to be prior to meeting you. After I met you, there was no inspiration necessary because I learned the skill and I just stopped watching content in this space, honestly, because all the content was in real life. It was all action. But prior to meeting you, yeah, there were plenty. Coach Kyle was a big one. I think I discovered him in 2019. I would have been 19 at the time. Got plenty of little nuggets from his channel. Yeah, I got plenty of gold that I probably couldn't recall right now, but I'm sure it's somewhere in my psyche there. Um, there's this guy AMS, Alpha Male Strategies, we called him. Remember, I was 19. I was renting a room from this little Mexican guy named Edgar, he was a 40 when I met him. So we got a 40-year-old and an 18-year-old in this little 2-bedroom apartment in Concord, California. And we come home from work, I'm eating my oatmeals, I'm trying to save every penny, I'm 19. And he's chilling on his couch, and we're both watching AMS, Alpha Male Strategies, and talking about it and laughing about it. Yeah, I remember that was a big part of my development. I can't say it's funny because I can look back on some of these guys, and I bet I couldn't relate much to their content anymore. But in the moment, from where I was at 19, what these guys had to say was miles ahead of whatever I had to say or think. Yeah, so that was a guy. This guy was called Steph is Cold. I would watch. This guy MJ Get Right. I would watch. And the Mystery Method I read, that I think it was the Mystery Method. Yeah, there was just little resources that I would watch and read and binge watch little YouTube channels. And but okay, so now that I've plugged these people that I used to watch, what I can say is I haven't seen them in a while, so I can't say whether or not the content is still um, still is substantial. But what I really love about our content and the angle that we are taking is you've always encouraged me to just document and with, on the theme of documenting, we do live streams where there are no cuts and there are no edits. You talk about people can feel, people can read or listen to what's on the screen, and they can put you in the box of fake or real. And I think the live streams, there's nowhere to hide. We couldn't sit here and talk about these topics in such depth with such conviction in our voices unless we actually knew what we were talking about. It'd be very tough to fake all of this, fake every approach, fake all of the camera angles, fake all of the lesson. It's like all of these life lessons we're teaching can only come through learning, can only come through doing. So these are things that we can't really search on the internet and find. These are things that we're coming up with as we go. But it's not because we're anything special. It's because we actually put forth action. Yeah, and we learn through the game of life. So yeah, that I just want to end it with, or end that answer with that, which is, I just like the angle that we're taking because let me just add one thing, which is those guys that I would watch, I loved them. I loved their content. They helped me so much, but oftentimes still they would create the illusion that they were perfect. They would create the illusion that they couldn't get rejected, that every girl liked them, that they were Mr. Choosing Signals everywhere they went. And to some of them, it may have been true. Yeah, maybe the reason why they had such success with women could have been because they were just born straight Giga Chads from birth, whatever. But just, maybe plenty of them were average as well. But all of them had a common thread, which is they wouldn't show their losses. They would overwhelmingly show their wins and maybe like 2 losses, but they wanted to make sure their percentages looked good, yeah, so that they wouldn't lose business, for example. But we take an angle of, well, first you, I mean, you took the baton first. You started the race with your rejection compilations. These videos started changing the game for me. So it taught me that I can be true. I can be my real self even on the internet. I don't have to hide behind the wins that I have. I don't have to hide behind my successes. I can show my losses. And what that has taught me is that showing the losses is actually more valuable than anything. I have I have dozens of videos of date breakdowns of women I've met through cold approach. And then I did a whole date breakdown about, wow, this is amazing. Look how my night ended up. And those get like a few hundred views. And then I'd say, watch me get rejected all afternoon, and 1,000, 2,000 people watch. Yeah. So that tells me that people really enjoy transparency. So I plan on continuing that in the other infields that I end up recording. Yeah, just show the progression, show myself getting blown out. The ones I don't want to show, those are the ones that people need to see. They need to be aware that I am the same as them. Yeah. So just because this conversation went well doesn't mean they all do. So yeah, that's the angle that I like that we take on this space for sure.
Yeah, I almost feel as though that's what YouTube was created for in the first place. Like I found myself yesterday watching this video, this random guy in America, and the video was titled something like "Drinking in a Park at 3 p.m. while smoking cigarettes."
Oh,
It's
I
like
know this guy.
yeah, it's like a 50-minute video. It's got 1.3 million views, and like as I'm going through the comments, because I'm always curious about videos that blow up. Like why do people like this? Just some random 24-year-old kid in his car smoking and drinking. It's kind of like I don't know if you're familiar with Sam Sulek on YouTube, the fitness
Yeah,
guy.
yeah, yeah.
Right, yeah. So like if you look at his videos, there's no editing, there's no fancy thumbnails. It's just a big jacked guy in his car talking about life. And like for me, that's the whole point of like what social media should be for. It's like people connect with people, and people just seem to enjoy like the humanization. Like, oh, there's a guy smoking cigarettes at 3 p.m. I almost feel as though the whole social media landscape has become tarnished with perfectionism. Like, all I need to do is go onto my Instagram feed or YouTube homepage, and I've got like day in the life of a millionaire, like 21-year-old millionaire in Miami. I'm like, cool story, Colin. That's nice. Good for you. But I guarantee you're depressed to the fucking gills and you're putting that out there because you need people to validate your existence. But I'm like, I just think like we've kind of like lost touch with like humanity. You know, you see some like 17-year-old kid who's got like fucking 15 wives making 10 bill a year. I'm like, wow, okay, cool. Like something's really like gone wrong somewhere along the line. But I think just the reality and the realism. It's like, hey, by the way, I can help you create a great dating life. But by the way, there's a rejection reel of me getting rejected repeatedly for 30 minutes. Or like here's a date that didn't go very well, or I don't know, something came up in my life that I wasn't anticipating. Here's how I'm dealing with it. So I don't know. I just think that like a lot of And it's so easy to fall into the box of a guru, right? So it's like you learn a skill, now you think you're perfect. That's why I said to you, try and create how I as opposed to how to, because the moment that you start positioning yourself as an authority figure is the moment where you stop learning because you think you've arrived and you think that everything that you say is right. And like that gets harder the more that you level up. And that's why it's so important that you just keep surrounding yourself with people who are better than you. Not like better than you in terms of like they've got more of a justification for being alive, but there are people in this world who are just further ahead in the dating game, the business game, the body game. And I just think that one of my biggest superpowers, and for you as well, is just finding people who are further ahead than you, humbling yourself, and just learning from those people. Because, like, once you start putting yourself in rooms of people who are just like 10 steps ahead of you, you're just like, how the fuck have I even been creating content for this past year when I literally know nothing? Like one of the best quotes is like, the more I learn, the less I know. And I think that there's so many people in this world that, and myself included, not that long ago, where you reach a certain level of success, you think you're like the fucking Billy Big Bollocks, and then you start to like coast on your success. But then it's like, that's not the point of this. Like the whole point of this for me is like to learn things and then share the things. It's like, oh, I was like you. Now I've evolved. Here's how you can do it as well. And I think from what you're saying, that's the point of your channel at the moment. It's not being like I'm up here and you're down there. It's like I'm here. You might be down there, but like I can teach you the steps to get to where I'm at. But by the way, I'm not perfect either, and I've still got things that I struggle with. But maybe if we work together, we can create this great partnership where we build each other up because iron sharpens iron or whatever the fucking phrase is. So yeah, I just think that's important. It's just like it's the obsession with progression. It's like evil is the knowledge that believes itself complete. And I just think that everyone goes through this phase in life where it's like, oh, I couldn't get girls. Now I've got girls. Now I think I'm like God's gift to women. It's like kind of like you lose that like beginner's like childlike ability to like you start to take yourself too seriously as well. Like, I think that's something else that happens. It's like you start to get romantic success and you think you're bulletproof, and then you meet a girl, she breaks your heart, and you're like, oh fuck, I wasn't expecting that. So yeah, it's just nobody knows. Like nobody knows what they're doing, and no one knows what the fuck is going on. Like when you actually have that zoomed out perspective, and you're like, wow, we're on this floating like thing in space, and there's like asteroids flying past us, and like once upon a time there were dinosaurs, and like it's just no one knows what the fuck's going on. And as much as people like to position themselves as like authority figures, like I'll teach you how to get girls, that might be nice, but yeah, no one actually knows what's going on. I think it's just nice sometimes to actually just be able to humble yourself and be like, yeah, we're all just kind of like blagging our way through life, and it's kind of nice in a way.
Yeah, that's why I loved that you suggested the how I content because just so you boys know, initially when I started the channel, I was gonna just do a bunch of tutorial videos, how to get girls, how to pass a shit test, how to. And Christian mentioned that how to is assuming that I have the one solution to this one problem. Yeah, it's assuming that what I have to teach supersedes what everybody else has to teach. Whereas how I is okay, there may be other solutions to the same problem, but this is mine. Yeah, and so you can't invalidate mine because it's just mine. I never claimed for it to be the world's. It's just mine, and I loved that because that's what allowed me to share my losses so freely. Is I'm not telling you that what I have to share is going to solve dating for every guy, each and every guy in the world. It's just solved it for me. It solved it for Christian. It solved it for me. It solved it for the entire entourage. So I imagine that if you follow the same steps that I did, it will probably solve it for you. But I'm not here to tell you that blanket statement, this is the way. Yeah. So I love the how I content. Yeah. Because it kind of just it only attracts the people that relate to what I have to say. And then everybody else that doesn't agree, I just point to the title and go, dude, I'm not telling you to do this. I'm just telling you what I do. It's as simple as that. Yeah. So if you disagree, just block me, report me, dislike the video, unsubscribe, and go elsewhere. It's as simple as that. Yeah. So yeah, but yeah, I appreciate the how I angle a lot. I think that was a big reason why I was able to share the losses so freely, and I still do to this day. like you said, nobody knows shit. We're all going through this. We're all going through life for the first time. Each and every person, even our parents, yeah, they're parenting for the first time. Let's say. So we're all doing our best at this. That's why the how I content it just proves to people that you don't have to know everything. You don't have to be at the top. You don't have to be perfect at anything in order to share content. You may be better at a skill than somebody, so you can teach that person a lot. There may still be people better than you. Those people probably won't engage with your content. But yeah, that really freed me because I was scared of. I think what I was fearful of when starting the channel is that I would get to a place where I would feel like that guru you described, and then I would have these losses, like you mentioned. Maybe my heart gets broken, or maybe this girl doesn't like me, this girl ghosts me, blah blah blah. And I was worried that I would have to like shadow those, like the guys we mentioned before, that I grew up watching. They shadowed those, and I know they did because they didn't talk about losses, but I know they had them because I've lived through this lifestyle now, and I know that there's no avoiding a loss. There's no avoiding a girl that doesn't like you. It's bound to happen. So the fact that they didn't share anything about those women is very telling. Yeah, it tells me that as solid as those guys may have been, and as influential they were to me, they probably aren't even as far along as far as like emotional maturity and transparency as you and I and the entourage are. Yeah, there are elements of my personality, your personality, that probably are what we can say better than the guys that even referred to that taught us what we know. So yeah, I think that was just an interesting point to add. So I did want to introduce something though, that I wrote down, which is I noticed yesterday. So I was playing pool with my dad yesterday. This will be a question for you, Christian. And I noticed that there's I've told a similar story before. Guys, they walk in, they got their pool glove with the cut off fingers. They got their own pool cue that they got to screw together, and they're looking they're looking all.
I don't. Wait, is there actually people like that exist in this world?
Oh, in the
People
states.
wear gloves.
Oh, I'm not even kidding. I'm not even kidding. They have these billiards gloves, and then they're cut off fingers, so you can have easy, finger movement. And then they have the pool cues that they come in a briefcase, and you can like screw it together. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, it's rampant in the United States, absolutely. And so I'm playing pool with my dad at a bar yesterday. No crazy story here, but I just remember having a thought, which is, I'm watching games, I'm playing games, and I'm looking over and I'm thinking, dude, it doesn't matter how many games this guy wins because he just looks so try hard. It's not going to be impressive because he walked in with a cut off glove and a screw together cue. So it's like versus, let's say me or one of these other guys that are just, we're wearing what we're wearing. I just gotten off of work. I'm pounding beers down. I'm sloppily playing pool with my dad. And it's like, if I am to beat that guy, I look way cooler just because of the fact that it looks effortless. It looks like I'm not trying. And so I even texted that to myself because I recognize that it's I mean, it's true. It feels as though it's true in life. We see a person who's effortlessly doing a task or a skill, and it almost always looks better than the person that is very intentional and is very focused on the skill. Yeah, we talk about LeBron James playing basketball. Well, he can do it with his eyes closed. It looks so graceful, but it's graceful because it's effortless, and it's effortless because he's done it so many times. Yeah, so I'll tie that together, which is, um, I think that this skill set looks best when you can make it look as though it's effortless. It's not effortless. It took so much work and effort to get yourself to this point. But when it looks effortless, I think it looks so much cooler. I think the results end up being way better because the girl can feel that you've done this a million times. She may not be able to put her finger on it, but she can feel it. So my question to you is, what are your thoughts around that? What are your thoughts around cold approach seeming effortless, seeming natural, and how that might play into your overall belief, your overall results?
Yeah, it's actually it's one of the laws in the 48 laws of power. I can't remember what number law it is. It's one of the early laws, I think. It's like make your accomplishments seem effortless. Like I think human beings are innately attracted to people who make things appear effortless because it almost gives you a sort of divine frequency. It's like an artist who can just seems to be able to like create the most immaculate, like comprehensive drawings at the click of a finger, but you don't realize that he spent 20 years honing his craft. So I think that's cool. I think like it's kind of like if you go to like business networking events, it's always like the quiet people who are the most valuable because they don't need anything from anybody else in the room. It's like the person who has the most cares the least. So like I actually think a really great thing for guys to do. This more applies like a business setting, but like if you're spending time around high level individuals, you don't want to be that guy who's like an energy leech, like just asking like question after question after question. It's like you almost want to like assume the role of the most valuable person in the room. And usually the most valuable person in the room doesn't actually need to try because he's already proved everything to himself. So it's like if you're playing pool with a guy and he's got the fucking knuckle duster and the extendable cue. It's like this guy, he's come here to win, but like he really really needs to win. It's not like he even wants to win. It's like you can just tell he's attached excess importance to the victory, right? And then if he loses, he looks like a loser. But like if you rock up and you've got your wife beater on, you've got your sunglasses on at 10 p.m. at night, and like if you happen to win, it's like, whoa, that guy just rocked up out of nowhere. He drank a beer and he absolutely schooled this guy. So like I do think that's like a valuable lesson, especially if you're someone who's interested in the world of like persuasion and influence and power. It's like you do want to kind of, it's like you want to put a lot of work in on the back end. It's like the work that people don't see. So it's like if I was like, you know, spending all day every day at the pool table, but it's like it's like a juxtaposition. It's like a contrast. It's like, you know, if I was like the most intelligent person in the room, I had like an IQ of 200, but like I was dressed down, and then I got like this like immaculate score on my IQ test. People are gonna be like, "Whoa, what the fuck? Like, how did he do that? He's not even trying." So I like that. I think like making your actions appear effortless. So like if you're a guy right now and you're watching this content, and you're 3 years old, and you spend the next 7 years of your life like approaching, going out during the day, at night, going to improv classes, spending a lot of time just sucking socially, and then you get to 30 years old and you've got this like 7 years behind you of social experience, and then you can just walk into a room and leave with the most beautiful girl in there. People are going to be like, wow, this guy's a natural. And like to the like, you didn't see me when I was 23 years old, when I was 27 years old, and I sucked, like viciously sucked. It's like when guys come across my content today and they're like, "Oh, it's easy for you because you've got great conversation skills." It's like, yeah, dude, like I couldn't even speak to a brick at 13. Like, I was scared to get rejected by the concrete. So it's like it's developed over time, but it's like people only see the finished product. You know, you see like a Da Vinci painting, and you're like, wow, I could never do that. It's like, yeah, Da Vinci couldn't do it 20 years ago. He had to become the version of himself who was able to do that. So I like that. I think like attaining a level of mastery and almost like downplaying your achievements. It's like, you know, whenever you meet like wealthy individuals, usually they're not wearing like Prada or fucking Gucci or like Louis Vuitton. They're just wearing like very like dumbed down clothing because they've got nothing to prove anymore. It's always the loudest guy in the room who's the lowest on confidence, because like in his mind, he's not earned the right to be the most valuable person in the room. So he has to overcompensate. And this is what like I'm learning more and more now. Like I can be a naturally gregarious individual, and I like to be the center of attention a lot of the times. But then I realized like a lot of that is because I just wasn't secure in my own skin, and I felt as though I needed to be the center of attention, otherwise I would feel invisible. But I actually realized when I took a step back and like I could like enter rooms and just like not speak to anybody, and people would think in their mind, like, the fuck's wrong with this guy? Maybe he's got terrible social skills. And then when somebody like activates me, I can just talk about any topic. They're like, fucking hell, I wasn't expecting that. So it's just like it didn't make sense in my mind. I'm like, yeah, but if I'm the smartest person in the room, I need to tell everybody about it. It's like, no, sometimes like downplaying your achievements is like the best way to go, because people just get intrigued by you. So I think that's a cool strategy. And this is just something that I'm learning more and more as I develop.
Yeah, yeah, that's a very interesting thought. I believe that. Well, okay, I wanted to ask one more question. I think we have a bit more time, if you have time, which is different direction, but it's just around the entourage in general. And I wanted to know, it seems to be changing in front of our eyes on a weekly basis. For those of you who don't know, the Entourage is the private network that Kristian started. He he adds guys that work with him and do an immersion with him and learn the skill set straight from the source. And I'll just give kind of my overview of what I've seen over the year or year and a half that we've been in the Entourage, which is, it started out as kind of this like general chat for dating problems and dating solutions, where we kind of talk about our experiences cold approaching and our experiences just with different women and honestly in life in general. It quickly blossomed as it grew into a space where it's still centered around cold approaching, but then it started extending into different areas like finance. We got guys doing a bunch of different professions and running a bunch of different businesses that teach on different topics. But now it has hit a different level. Yeah, I I have been kind of thinking about recently what the level is, like what we can call it. But the best thing I've come up with so far is it seems like a hero's arc like journal now, the Entourage, meaning now each person that is going through their immersion, they kind of just naturally take the floor. They take the spotlight in the Entourage for 3 days to 2 weeks to however long. And they have all of this momentum behind them because they're working with Kristian, they're going in for all of their approaches. And then they just spew their findings out into the chat. They spew out what they're learning, they spew out the beliefs that they're getting over, the self-limiting beliefs more specifically, and they talk about what they're struggling through, yeah, what they still need help with, and all of the guys start pouring in, yeah, like support units. They ask a question and then all the guys come from the recesses, the shadows, and we go, oh, I remember when I had this problem, and then we kind of talk it through it. So yeah, I just wanted to highlight that I think that it's really cool because I've never seen anything like this, not even close. Yeah, a space where one guy, and this is just where it's at now, where one guy at a time kind of just takes over the spotlight and goes. We can just watch each and every guy go through his hero's journey, his little arc, for a month or so, and it's just great to see. But I was just wondering, what do you think about the Entourage? Where do you see it going? Do you like where it's at now? Where do you see it going in the future? Or do you have a plan? Or are you just letting it blossom and evolve how it may?
Yeah, yeah, it's a good question. Yeah, there's a lot of different avenues really, but like the way that I view it, like I like to think in terms of decades rather than days. So like I could be making way more money than I'm currently making, but like I realized, I don't know when it was, maybe a couple of months ago, I realized that money was not my main motivator. And I realized that my soul almost became poisoned by the pursuit of money. Like, first of all, money's not actually real. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole, but just humor me for now. Like, it's not real. It's just this thing that we've decided that if tomorrow we decided that those like things that we call notes didn't have any universal value, then it would actually it doesn't it's not real. But anyway, I care about impact. Like for me, I only want to be working with people who I genuinely feel as though I can change their lives to a degree that they're not even like conscious of right now. So like I really want this to blossom into a community for high achieving individuals who can all come together and they can all learn from one another. Like it's a thing, like they learn cold approach to get started with. That's like the gateway drug to whatever they want to achieve. But what I've been thinking of recently is I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to shut off access into the groups. Like I don't want to take on anybody else as things stand. Like I just want to honor the people that are already in the group. Like I don't want to be like taking on like more. But anyway, so I really want this to develop into something that I feel proud of, and not from a monetary standpoint, but like I just want to feel as though like the impact of that group is just like it's genuinely changing people's lives. So like I'm going to Dubai at the end of the month or at the end of October. It's like this like mastermind event, like working like with a lot of like guys who are making like a lot of money. But it's just the integrity of the overall group that I really care about. So I know. I just every single person that is in that group at the moment. My only focus is I want to make those people as successful as possible. So like rather than like focusing on like getting new clients, attracting new people, it's like I just want to honor the people that are already in that group. Like I want to make that ecosystem so incredible that when I do decide to like invite new people into it, it's like they just get dropped into this thing where it's like success is just inevitable. And I know that I can drop guys in there right now and they're just going to be absolute killers from the get go because it's already happened. Like we call
Yeah.
it the entourage effect, where guys have joined and within a couple of days, before they've even done any in person coaching, some of them have already got girlfriends. Some of them have already, like, some of them are already approaching, and they're like, the fuck is going on here? Like, all I did was sign up, join the WhatsApp group, realize that there's guys who are way ahead of me who are out there approaching. Like, why do I even need to wait for any in-person immersion? I'm just going to go out into my city. I'm going to approach some girls. Oh, lo and behold, now I've got a date this weekend. Thanks, guys. So it's like, what I'm sat on at the moment, it's like I'm just waiting for the world to catch up. I understand that I'm still early in my own development. Like that, I would say that's like one of my biggest struggles as well. It's impatience. It's like I just want everything now. It's like I want the world to just give me my roses and be like, do you know what? You actually deserve these. But like I'm still aware that a lot of the world is still catching up, and like I've still got a lot of improvement to do as well. It goes back to what we were saying about before about like position yourself as a guru. Really, what I want to do like for the rest of this year is almost just like dumb myself down again. Is like go back to the person that I was 4 years ago and just recognize that I just want to reconnect with just like that child and that beginner that's inside of me. I don't want to I don't want to position myself as an authority figure anymore. Like if people are like, "Hey, Kristian, I want to work with you." Yeah, cool. Go work with Coach Kyle. Go work with Ephraim. Go. I don't want to. I don't want to work with anybody at the moment because like I want to develop myself even more and just keep helping the guys who I'm already helping because I understand that the whole like business game it's a long-term play, right? Like everyone just wants to cash out right now. Hey, just create this course, go buy it. Like that's why I made my courses free because like I don't want to just try and make some like quick money with people. I kind of understand now how poisonous that is to myself. I don't feel good about doing that. Like I really want to create like long-term relationships and long-term success with the guys that I work with. I think the next evolution for me is becoming like the next version of me who can actually serve like the next clients that I want to serve. So that's a really convoluted way of kind of just saying to people that I don't even want to place any like call to actions in my videos anymore. Like, hey, if you enjoyed this video, you can apply to work with me. You can't apply to work with me because I'm gonna just like shut off all the call to actions. Like, you can get my free courses; those will be nice. Like, I'm good for money. I don't need money to satisfy or satiate my soul. I really just want to provide impact and just life changing content without needing anything from anybody. Like we were saying before, just being able to walk into a room and just enjoy being in the room, not needing anything from anybody, not try to find an angle, not try to put in like a really clever like call to action, like all this bollocks. It's just like I just want to sort of just create this high integrity offer because I know that the actions I take today, 2, 3 years down the line, then they'll pay off. So yeah, that's kind of the angle that I want to take with it. I just want to create this high integrity offer. Everybody that I work with is somebody that I actually want to work with. And just really positioning myself as like the number one, like luxury sort of brand, like Chanel, whatever. I just think that's a nice way to do it. If any of that made sense, and that's really nice. But yeah, that's my way of saying like I don't want anybody's money right now. I don't want to work with anybody because I've still got a lot of improvement to do for myself.
You know, the best part about you cutting out your call to actions now and cutting off access is that it couldn't have been 6, 8 months ago that we were on a live just like this. And I told the guys at the end, I said, reach out to Kristian right now because there's a chance that you won't have access to this version of him in a few months, in a year. And here the day has come. Yeah. I was predicting this. Yeah. I knew that there would be a step after what we were doing at that time, what you were doing at that time, and it's come, right? The time has come. So that's very interesting. Um, so yeah, I think that also it seems as though your role now is going from coach teaching guys how to cold approach to almost like the overseer that can teach guys how to make an impact in the world through cold approach. So it's like it went from Kristian is teaching Ephraim how to get girls, get a date, get laid, to like, all right, Kristian is helping oversee this whole group, and he's putting his input in, and he's investing, he's sewing into the group so that Ephraim can go out and help other guys now get dates and have all these romantic options. And so it's starting to, the business is starting to, I guess, have some depth added to it, which I think is nice, or the group, I should say. And I think that you're taking the perfect angle because the more that you sow into the group, the more develops the guys that are already in there will become, the more impactful I will become my channel. You know, we've got Joseph going, we've got other guys in the entourage, we've got Jazz who's got a channel. We got a bunch of guys that already are starting to raise their hand, yeah, to plant their flag. And the more that you can learn and then throw what you're learning to us, the quicker we can implement that, and then the more exponential our impact is truly going to be versus you know, you taking on 4 new clients and then sharing with 4 new people how to get the skill. So yeah, I think that's a phenomenal way to end off. Eh?
Yeah, no, I think so. Yeah, well, as soon as yeah, no, I had to realize it. Yeah, that's probably another live stream. But like once I truly understood that we're actually living in a simulation, and I actually realized that I'm the only conscious being here. I realize I actually can't do any wrong. Like I can't, like nothing is wrong. Like it's all been provided to. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But yeah, point being, this is the play because all I want to do now is just continue to improve myself. Like whatever happens, like all of the roadblocks along the way. Like I want to reignite my desire to suck and to fail and feel like it just at the start of the whole thing again because I think that is truly what people connect with. Like people want real. They're like, oh wow, this person actually doesn't want my money. He just wants to fucking help because he knows, like in the long game, that they're gonna be like raging fans. So like I just think it's just a better angle to take. So yeah, I just want to keep leveling up. Everybody that's already in the group is like they're grandfathered in, and like everything that I do now is just gonna be an act of service to help those people. And yeah, I think it's just a character development. Like, I started off this whole thing. I had a chip on my shoulder. I had a big ego. I just wanted to prove people wrong. Now I don't really care about doing that anymore. It's like, wow, I've got all these amazing people who've already paid me lots of money to be in this group. Why don't I just focus my attention on these people rather than trying to like convince other people that they should work with me? It's like I already know the value that I've got, and if anybody's not come forward at this point, it's their fucking loss. It really is. So yeah, my focus is just on the people that are already working with me. And yeah, it just feels like a better angle than just like going out and like chasing new people. Like, oh, do you want to buy my program now? Like, nah, don't want to fucking buy it. Don't want to buy it back then. Don't want to buy it now. So yeah, so no. Any closing thoughts that you want to give to people? Where can people find you? That's a good call to action. Where can people
Yeah.
find you?
Yeah, you can find me. Well, I guess I used to say you can find me in the entourage, but sadly, you no longer get access to that. So now, only
God.
place you can find. Yeah, sorry, man, you weren't early enough. We tried to tell you. So now, only place you can find me would be my channel. I have a YouTube channel. It's called Pull University, and in this channel, I just teach. I just document. In this channel, I just document my life. I document what I learn, and by virtue of documenting what I learn, it kind of comes across as teaching. And so guys can pick up on my thoughts. If people align with me, they can give me feedback or they can ask questions. But yeah, that's where you can find me. I don't have a product or a service. I don't have a single thing to sell you. I run a free group where we just talk about dating problems. Um, and yeah, I haven't even put together any sort of a product or anything like that right now. I'm just really looking to serve, looking to give back. Just like those guys that I used to binge watch when I was 19, and they helped me get here, and I'm just helping the next generation do the same. So yeah, no closing thoughts. Just it feels like we're really laying the groundwork still. I like that you said the long game because just like I already know. We talked about this extensively in Cyprus at the beginning of this year. We already know that this is a gold mine. Yeah, there's nothing like this in the world. This skill set mixed with this group is just it's one of a kind, and we're sitting on it right now, and we're sewing into it right now, and it's just so active right now. But like you mentioned, the world hasn't caught up yet. They probably still see us and put us into a certain category, but they'll catch up. And yeah, I think this group, this space, but more specifically, our angle on this space will just absolutely explode. So I'm looking forward to it over the next coming decades for sure.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. Yeah, my next play is I'm gonna start getting on like people's podcasts because
Mhm.
I just enjoy these type of discussions. Like, you know, I was sat down the other day and I'm like, right, it's time to make a new YouTube video. And it's like, right, sit down, write the thing. You know, it's okay, but like I realize that what really breeds energy into me is having like conversation. Like I do my live streams every day. I have some days where I'm like, fuck me, I have to talk to myself again. It just I'm a social person. I like to have
Yeah.
these like back and forth, these like playful ping pongs where like you can say something and I can go down an angle. So yeah, like as the year progresses, like I'll make connections when I go to Dubai. I want to start getting on people's podcasts. I really want to start to just like express opinions in like a long form content and like just really start to like shout about the skill set from the rooftop, but like also start to normalize it as well and just I don't know. I just think I'm in the best position that I've ever been to actually have like good discussions. And yeah, just really empower people with the beliefs that I've developed over these years. So yeah, you'll probably start seeing me on podcasts. I probably won't go on Fresh and Fit. I feel like those guys. I don't know
No,
what
no,
happens to
no,
those
no.
guys, man. But yeah, I like the idea of like doing like long form podcasts, like just speaking with people in different spaces, and they're like, "Oh, you're the pickup guy," and then after at the end of the conversation, it's like, "Oh, now I get it. You're just a cool guy who like wants to empower guys, just grow a set of balls and go after what they want." Now I'm behind it, so yeah, that'll be something that'll be interesting for me. And then yeah, I think that this has been a really good conversation. Like I say, it's good to actually just have conversations with people as opposed to talking to myself and thinking, what the fuck should I talk about today? Oh, I know, like
Yeah.
how to cold approach girls. That's usually a topic that people like. I've even got to the point now where I'm asking ChatGPT for video titles. I'm like, ChatGPT, scan my YouTube channel and give me titles that people might like. It's like, okay,
Oh,
Kristian.
that's
So
actually not a that's not a bad strategy
no,
now
it's
that you say
great. I
it.
get
Yeah.
ChatGPT to write some of my video scripts. I'm like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's a different thing. But anyway, this has been really good. Thank you for dedicating your time. I know it's like, what time is it where you are? Like 7:35?
Yeah, but I mean, dude, I'm just service oriented. You know, you've impacted my life in such a way that what's a 6 a.m. live stream, you know? So I appreciate you certainly. I appreciate what you do for the space, for the group. Like you mentioned, it's always a pleasure to hop on Casanova's channel, baby. I love being featured here, man. It's my
Hey, we're
favorite.
on 11,000 subscribers now, man. I don't know how the
Dude,
fuck we
I
got there.
saw. Oh my god, dude, I met you. You were at like 4.5 subs,
I remember.
4.5 thousand subs. And now
Yeah.
all of a sudden 11K. I mean, this is you've already 2x since I met you. This is insane. Yeah.
Yeah.
Starting to take off, yeah. So, yeah,
Yeah,
can't
it's the
wait.
MILF. It's the MILF videos, man. I posted like I approached a MILF in Amsterdam, and this happened. That fucker got 250,000 views in a month. I'm like, these people really like the MILF content. That's all
Yeah.
organic as well, which is crazy. Like organic,
Wow.
250,000 views from a MILF video. Like
Yeah.
I've got friends who've got YouTube channels. I'm like, how the fuck did you get that many views organically? I'm like, genuinely, no fucking idea. Ask the people. It's the people. It's the people that decide. So yeah, the people like the milfs. So
Yeah.
yeah, cool.
Yeah, I agree. I think I like the MILF as well. So
Well,
keep making those videos, huh?
I'll do my best. Anyway, thank you. It's been a pleasure,
Yeah.
and I will speak with you again soon. All right.
All right. Deal.